What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be breaking down and reviewing The Flash Season 7 Episode 8. But before we get started, make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment any other video ideas for me. So just quickly before we get into the review, we got some crazy news earlier, guys. Carlos Valdez, who plays Cisco Ramon, and Tom Cavanagh, who plays all the different Welleses, as well as Reverse Flash from time to time, they are both going to be leaving the show during or after The Flash Season 7. By leaving, I mean they will not be regulars anymore. They will still probably appear every once in a while, however, they will not be regulars. But anyways, now starting with the review. So, the episode starts out with a scene in Argus, and basically this was Kristen Kramer talking in regards to locking Frost up, as that is what the episode is basically focused on, basically, you know, Frost's trial and everything. Then we find out that Frost might not go to prison for as long as we thought. I think they said like 18 months or something like that. And then Frost basically gives up at that point. She just says that, you know, she's going to miss Caitlin, she'll do her time, whatever. Then Speed Force Nora lets Barry know that Fuerza has returned, yet when they go to the location of Fuerza, she's nowhere to be found. Then at the start of Frost's trial, we find out that they want to erase Frost's powers, which we find out could also kill her, so that was pretty intense. Obviously, they would use the metahuman cure to do that. So then we find out that there might be another force or another person occupying the same force as another evil force character such as Psyche or Fuerza. Then Barry gets a hit that there might be more force related things coming from a nearby tent. Then in that tent they meet a girl named Alexa who they think could be connected to one of these other forces or is just a metahuman. Then Allegra, Caitlin, and Cisco mount an expedition to break into CCPD to help Frost's case. Obviously, that would mean neutralizing the metahuman cure. But unfortunately, they run into Kristen Kramer. But then they're still able to neutralize the cure, and now they think that Frost can no longer get cured. Then Barry and Speed Force Nora talk to Alexa, and the Speed Force gets kinda ticked off. She's making all these weird accusations like, you were the one that hurt me, you were the one that killed all these people, something along the lines of that. Then this is where, you know, the Speed Force really started to sound like a villain. Then back at the courthouse pleading for Frost's case, Joe talks about Frost being a hero now and no longer a villain, but then the court blames Killer Frost for neutralizing the cure, so Team Flash, being Cisco and Caitlin, neutralizing the cure really did not work at all because it just made things worse, as you'll find out later. But then we find out that they actually have more of the cure, and it's looking very bad for Frost at this point, as I think even Cecile mentioned that they literally just lost. Then we find out that Alexa might actually be Fuerza herself. Obviously, I really did not expect this. I thought Alexa might just be like another metahuman, like connected to one of those forces. But yeah, that was a really interesting twist right there. Then we find out that Kristen Kramer wants to take away the powers of all metahuman criminals, like Cicada, who they did mention in the scene. Then back at Star Labs, the Speed Force is acting strange again, as she almost gives out Barry's identity as the Flash to Alexa. Obviously that happened after Barry actually went to Alexa as the Flash to convince her to come back to Star Labs so they could, like, you know, run some tests on her to see if she was Fuerza. But then something really interesting happens. To get out of taking the metahuman cure, Frost says that she wants to stay in prison for the rest of her life, which I didn't really expect. However, I really was pretty sure that they were going to write Frost out of the show in some type of way, so maybe this is how they do that. Then near the end, we see Barry and Speed Force Nora somewhat experimenting on Alexa, obviously because they think that she could be Fuerza. So basically they're just trying to see if she is or not with some like big sensor type thing that they put her under. We find out that she is Fuerza as she actually starts to transform into her, which was a pretty interesting scene. But then after Alexa is out of her Fuerza phase, she's like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm so scared. But Barry's just like, you know, you're gonna be alright, all this stuff. But the Speed Force doesn't like that, as obviously Fuerza wanted to kill her. So the Speed Force takes advantage of what's going on here, and she tries to kill Alexa as she, you know, blasts her with a lightning blast. At this point, Barry is like, what is going on? But yeah, guys, this is a crazy twist at the end. Of course, we knew that this was most likely going to happen. We've had the theory that Speed Force Nora is really a villain since like episode 5 of season 7 or something along the lines of that. But anyways, after the Speed Force hurts Alexa, she tries to hurt Iris as well. But Barry jumps in front of Iris and launches a lightning bolt of his own toward the Speed Force. But the Speed Force is able to like counteract it and like form it with a bunch of her own energy, and creates like some type of Speed Force energy lightning ball in turn, which she launches towards Alexa, presumably killing her, while Barry obviously couldn't do anything because he was like frozen in the air because of the Speed Force. Clearly, if the Speed Force does end up being a villain for the rest of this graphic novel, she is going to be a very, very powerful villain, as obviously she gives Barry the powers he has, so she could probably like super manipulate his powers depending on how much of a villain she ends up turning into. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your thoughts on the episode. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.